Welcome to another episode of the Middle Order Cricket Podcast. We are joined by Khizar Ali, Farrakh, Ashraf, and Qasim Ahmed today, and we're going to discuss the first week of the PSL 2021. One of the key characters of the last week, and that's Sarfaraz Ahmed, and how he's captained his team so far to 3 losses out of 3, despite actually batting quite well in a couple of games. He's certainly been the standout person from my point of view in terms of, entertaining to watch, but also a bit cringy in terms of how he's been leading his team. Qasim, your thoughts on the way he's behaved as a captain?
I think his behaviour has just been, it's very similar to what you've seen of him with Pakistan. It seems it's kind of grinded him down. The lack of being able to deliver at certain points, it grinds him down. I come from a sporting background myself, so I understand how he's feeling at that very moment in time, and it's intense pressure, no doubt about it. However, I'm amazed at the fact that he's not actually learnt from his past issues of how he's dealt with those situations. You see Virat Kohli, he's a douchebag, but he learns from his experiences, and he comes back stronger. Sarfaraz hasn't done that. His mental game seems to have deteriorated over the time, and it's definitely not helpful to the other players on the pitch. You watch him, you literally watch him basically breaking down as there's a boundary every ball. He's like standing there like this, or his body language is so poor. Somebody needs to teach him that you need to basically sort that out. If you want to be a leader, you're going to have to lead with it by example.
Farrakh, what do you think the reason is that Sarfaraz is behaving in the way he is?
I think with the likes of Sarfaraz, there's probably lots of reasons, but the media doesn't seem to love Sarfaraz. I think there's lots of battles within battles here. So one is Rizwan versus Sarfaraz, which is not even every game, but it's like here's the cool captain, the future now, and here's the guy that actually was out of form and he's aggressive, and he's just, the look's not great. And I don't know if Viv Richards was still there, if he'd be a bit cooler having somebody like that around. But I think it's the pressure, as been said, and he's not dealing with it, the scrutiny around him, and the fact that he's no longer in the squad doesn't look like he'll get back into it, and that's all manifesting on the pitch. But yeah, it's not a great look. But if he was loved by the media, they'd say, check out this aggression, and he wants it so bad. But nobody's really making those noises, so that doesn't help either.
Khizar, Sarfaraz is a guy that I really want to like. I like his batting, and I think I like his tenacity when he's batting, and he's batting well. I don't think he's got the most talent in the world, but I think he tries to make the most of what he does have. But he's really let himself down over the last week or so, I would say. And me and you, we've both played under captains of similar sorts. So what do you've got to say about that?
Yeah, I feel for him. I genuinely feel for him, because you can see the stress that guy is under. We've seen it before. Remember, this is a guy who's won the champions. He's won trophies for Pakistan. He's performed. He's come in. He's got, as Farrakh mentioned,
he didn't win the Champions Trophy. Can I just say that he didn't actually win anything for Pakistan?
No,
that tournament. He was just there. He was just there.
You could say he's a passenger, but he's done it. He's done the Under-19s World Cup with Pakistan as well. This is a guy, I do feel for him, but he's not doing himself any favors. The way he's coming across, and especially with young bowlers like Hussain, these guys are turning away out of embarrassment. He knew the pressure he was under after the first game. He tried to control that. He came down, put his arm around the bowler. Later on, he just lost it. He was like, fuck this. He was giving it proper. He was pissed with the fielders. He was pissed with the bowlers who weren't bowling where they were meant to. It's not the way. He's not making any friends. He's got issues. Hafiz has come out and said, I love him just as much as I love the others. So I don't think Hafiz loves the others very much.
Look at the traits of the top 3 captains in the world. Would you say Williamson, Owen Morgan, even Kohli at times? They're all very cool and calculated.
Kohli's pretty aggressive.
Kohli is anything like the other two. The other two are quality captains in their own way. And we've got Babar Azam, who maybe should have been given captaincy in the PSL if we're wanting him to take on all 3 formats, that aside. But we've got a guy here in Rizwan who's maybe gone down the Kohli route of, I'm going to give it to everyone tight. But Kohli can back it up by performing in the field at that level. And he can demand that of his players maybe. But Sarfaraz is not making any friends. I don't think that's going to change. I think if they were winning games, this would be fine. It'd be fine because they'd be saying, oh, it's his aggressive nature that's bringing about those wins. As soon as you start losing the games and close games when bowlers are getting tonked at the end of the game, and, we've had it in the past where he just got hands on hips, so he's been yawning as a Pakistan player, and now we've got this. He's going through a tough time. I feel for him, but I don't see a way out, to be honest. He's got to be who he is, but without wins, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, and I think it's actually worse than just standing with hands on hips. It's actually shouting and berating players on TV in front of the world. It's not a good look, and it's time, I think, for Faf, the captaincy. Moving on, Khizar, we've had a full week now, just over, of the PSL. You've picked for us a team of the week.
Yeah, what I base this on is the performers, and there's some maybe ahead of others. We've got Mohammad Rizwan, Fakhar Zaman, Sharjeel Khan, Babar Azam, and Mohammad Hafiz as the top run scorers walking to the team. We need to accommodate Sharjeel in there. And how do we accommodate him is, for me, moving him lower down the order, because he's got a better strike rate and he plays the spinners well. I want to keep Rizwan opening at the top, hence I've had to sacrifice Sharjeel's position. Khizar Ali is just outside the 6 in the top run scorers. The reason he makes it in is because of his strike rate and situations where he's performed. We need a guy like this to perform. After that, you got Wahab Riaz. That's going to raise a lot of eyebrows. But I'm going to point to the number of wickets. He has gone some, and he's bowled well as well. Hence, he makes it in. Plus, he gives you a bit of batting firepower. Hussain Ali, again, 4 wickets there. So he was, again, outside the top 5 bowlers. But it's his economy rate which gets him in there. Ashraf Iqbal, a very much a club cricketer type of bowler, if there ever is one, doesn't really get noticed. But economy, thinking bowler, slower balls, where to bowl, getting key wickets. That's why he's in there. Shaheen Shah Afridi, I don't need to say anything. And Saqib Mahmood is the only overseas that gets in. And he's bowled well. He's bowled at good pace. And he's got 10 wickets, which is the most.
Qasim, any holes you can pick in that team?
The first thing I wanted to kind of say was the biggest disappointment for me there is it's just the usual names. We're playing a PSL tournament where we're hoping to unearth some new talent, and yet we have the same names over and over and over again. As much as I hate Wahab Riaz in there, I have to say he's X factor. See, when it comes to the death, he can deliver, but which Wahab Riaz turns up, I do not know. Yeah.
On that point, can I just say on Wahab Riaz's point, I don't understand. If you look at the last couple of years at the death, he's gone round the wicket and he's got big booming in-swinging Yorkers to the right-hander, bowling as a left-arm round the wicket bowler. He's not really done that this season. I don't understand why.
Completely agree. Other than that, a lot of average names in there. I'm really looking for Khizar Ali to step up, even more so given what we saw from him in England. When I saw him the first time, I thought, man, this boy is going to be good. He's not quite delivered, but I'm hanging in there with him. As long as I think if his attitude is right, he's going to continue on. I'm just counting the name of a number of Lahore players in here, so I'm quite surprised. But given the fact
three players, we're second in the league. Look, these players are on there. I picked because of numbers. They're there because of their numbers, how they performed. I'd love to see some of the new players. Guy I really wanted to include, but I just couldn't, was Concord. From, Sultan. I would love to have got him in there. It was between him and Ashraf Iqbal. Unfortunately, the economy was over 10, and I hope that I can get him in next week. He puts in some performances, overtakes a couple of people, and we get that boy in because I like the look at him. He looks good. The other guy that looks really good is the stocky-looking guy from Peshawar Zalmis.
Yeah. He's a bustly boy, big bustly boy. Yeah, he
looks good. There's a few of the emerging players that are doing well. They've not got the performances in yet, and hence we see some of the usual names because these guys are performing.
Where's
Back your
the where's,
thoughts.
where's the spinners? Where's the spinners in there?
I want to come to that at the end. Farrakh, give me your thoughts on the team quickly.
Well, the first thing I'd say is Khizar's done a trade here that we don't know about because he's put Babar Azam in Lahore and he's put Fakhr in Karachi. So he's done a
That's-
trade.
that's
without us
my
knowing.
bad.
That wasn't me. That's down to
He
the
wishes.
admin department. We're gonna have to get somebody. HR is gonna get involved, and
That's
someone's
it,
getting
you'll
a sack.
Yeah, you'll see a new presenter next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the point that first I was going to say was, the spin options and Wahab. I get what he's saying, but he's also, being really expensive. I would put Danny in there. I think, excitement for me, he's excited me. Heather's excited me in those two. And you're like, and I feel they deserve it. I mean, I know we're trying to fit everyone. I can see what you're doing with Sergio dropping down. I think it has to, he's got to open or he doesn't play. And
Yeah, look, for me, I don't mind him opening. Unfortunately, I'm not picking guys that I want in the team. I put guys there based on their numbers. Wahab Riaz is in there over Concord because of his economy being better, even though he got tonked and he's got more wickets. So, look, I would love to see that guy in the team. For me, Sharjeel or Fakhr, one of them will open. If both of them open, where does Rizwan bat? I don't want to move Babar Azam and the fees out of 3 and 4. They have to stay. So, more than happy to have that discussion. Which one of them plays? Do both of them play? But these are the guys that have scored the runs. Sharjeel's been lucky. He's got away with a few drop chances.
yeah.
I think
etc.,
Visa was lucky as well the other day, to be honest, with all his edges
couple-
against Amar.
But look, to be honest, he said himself, he goes, we'll play games where some of them go direct to fielders, but you also tonked your man out of the park in that 19th over. So a couple of
points
edges.
from me on this team. Then I think statistically, because it's a very strong team, you've got the top 4 batsmen in there, top 6 or 5 or 6 bowlers in there. So statistically, it's a very good team. Shame there isn't anybody new really in there. Khizar Ali, I was going to question, but then I looked at the strike rate and I thought, you've got to get him. Even if he's batting, 6 balls in the innings, he's going to make a ton of runs.
He's made some decent runs. The average is okay, but you've got to remember he's coming in low. He's been coming in 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
I would like to see him up the order, but I can understand why he's there if that's the role he's trying to fulfill, because it's between him and Shoaib Maqsood from Multan Sultans for that role, I think. And at the moment, Heather's ticking more boxes.
Yeah, the only one that I would not be having in my team is Wahab Riaz. I think he's actually cost them 2 games rather than bowled well in just the one game. And I would have had Imad Wasim, even though he's not a wicket taker, but he is still fairly.
Imad Wasim did not even bowl in the last game against Lahore.
What about Nawaz? I mean,
Nawaz would have been in. Look, for me, what I'm trying to do is, because we're doing it weekly, I'm giving you the performers. This is the performers team. These are the guys who got the runs, took the wickets. I would love to see Nawaz. If I was picking a team, Nawaz would be in there. But these are the performers. What I would like to do is every week, hopefully we get new guys knocking on the door. And at the end of the tournament, we have a number of guys who we've identified for the World Cup based on performances. This is a PSL 6 week 1 team. It's not the best team that we could pick, but these are the guys who performed.
Okay, Qasim, any final thoughts?
I mean, when you proposed the topic for today, I was trying to think of a lot of positives, and I mean, my background is strategic thinking. So really, for me, I really hope at the end of this PSL season, we have unearthed some decent talent, and I unfortunately brought to the table a lot of negatives today, but I'm hoping by the end of the season, there'll be far more positives than negatives to take from this season.
Farrakh, final couple of points from you?
Yeah, I mean, I've so far enjoyed it. I mean, outside of every team that chases wins, I think the coverage has been good. I think the competition's been good. You're seeing more players get right into it. Shaheen, for me, basically, underlined everything yesterday. His performance against Karachi, the aggression, everything was what you want to sell if you're selling a product. And I think, if you see more of that fire in the coming weeks, I think it's going to be right up there. I think it's going to be a good addition so far. I've been enjoying it.
Okay, excellent, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope to see you again soon on the show.